The beloved Police Academy film series, 1984 to 1994, was a comedy sensation, packed with outrageous gags, quirky characters, and unforgettable one-liners that kept audiences laughing for years. From the lovable misfits to the gruff yet endearing commanders, the cast's chemistry turned the franchise into a cult classic still enjoyed by fans today. But as time has passed, some of the talented actors who brought these iconic roles to life have sadly passed away. In this heartfelt tribute, we look back at their incredible performances, honor their legacy, and celebrate the laughter, joy, and unforgettable moments they gave to millions around the world. Bubba Smith was born on February 28, 1945, and played Moses Hightower in Police Academy in 1984 at age 39. On screen he was the gentle mountain of a man, a silent moral anchor with a soft voice who wielded immense physical power with comic restraint. That contrast, huge frame, soft heart, made Hightower unforgettable, but the man behind the role carried a far harsher backstory. Born in Orange, Texas, raised in Beaumont during segregation, Smith grew up under the twin pressures of racial discrimination and financial scarcity that sharpened his resolve and fed the steely focus that carried him to Michigan State and eventually to being the #1 pick in the 1967 NFL Draft. The childhood that produced the athlete also produced long-buried grievances, a father who coached, a family working within tough economic limits, and a Southern environment that taught survival more than sentimentality. His adult life read like a two-act play, gridiron glory followed by Hollywood reinvention, but punctuated by legal fights, a serious preseason injury in 1972 that spawned a bitter multi-year lawsuit, and later, health battles tied to his years of collisions. The tragedies and scandals were not always tabloid fireworks, they were slow-burning, chronic pain, the legal wrangle over the stadium injury, and whispers about post-career health decline. After death, researchers diagnosed him with CTE, the posthumous verdict that reframed his late-life behavior and ailments as the long game of repeated head trauma. Smith's response alternated between reinvention, a successful pivot into films, commercials, and hosting, and private struggle, with the public seeing a grinning, towering comic while family and clinicians wrestled with cognitive decline and heart disease. He was found dead in his Los Angeles home on August 3, 2011 at 66. Autopsy findings highlighted acute drug intoxication, phentermine, and heart disease, and his estate was modest, net worth estimates around $500,000, a sobering tally for a man who once traded tackles for box office coin and then paid a fatal price for the collision culture that made him famous. George Gaines was born on May 16, 1917, and played Commandant Eric Lassard in Police Academy in 1984 at age 67. To millions he was the disarming, befuddled chief whose absent-mindedness masked an oddly dignified core, the sort of elder statesman who made slapstick feel oddly humane. Gaines' cinematic persona, charming, blithe, ever slightly off-kilter, belied a life that was shaped by upheaval. Born George Jongens in Helsinki to a Dutch father and Russian mother, raised across Europe, schooled in opera and stagecraft, he survived the convulsions of World War II serving in the Royal Netherlands Navy and then emigrated to the United States where he built a late-blooming but steady career. His childhood was cosmopolitan but unsettled, a youth of geographic dislocation and cultural complexity that furnished him with a facility for languages and characters, yet he carried private grief. The death of his son Matthew in a car crash in India in 1989 devastated the family and left a quiet, persistent sorrow that friends later recalled as a shadow behind the genial public face. The pivotal traumas of Gaines' life were not tabloid scandals but losses and long separations from homeland instability, and his reaction was to double down on art, a lifetime of Broadway, opera, and character roles that became his therapy and vocation. He kept working into advanced age, moving from stage to television to beloved roles in Tootsie and Punky Brewster, his late success a testament to persistence rather than overnight fame. In later years he lived quietly with his wife Allen and McLary, while public accounts stressed his professional steadiness. When he died on February 15, 2016, at 98 in North Bend, Washington, obituaries noted both his decades-long output and modest financial comfort, net worth estimates in the low millions. But the true estate he left behind was cultural, A body of work in which vulnerability and warmth outweighed farce, and a personal story of survival, artistic reinvention, and private sorrow rarely dramatized on screen. Andrew Rubin was born on June 22, 1946, and played Cadet George Martin in Police Academy in 1984 at age 38. His on-screen swagger, quick smile, and cadet's bravado made Martin the flirtatious, comedic counterpoint within the ensemble, a small but memorable presence whose energy told you he might have been born to play the charismatic cadet. Rubin's real-life origins were prosaic. Born in New Bedford, Massachusetts to Jewish parents, his father a factory owner, his mother an artist and travel writer, he trained at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and carved a steady if not superstar career through television and film. The working-class values of his upbringing, practical, industrious, quietly ambitious, underpinned a professional life without the headline-making excesses of more notorious contemporaries. His life's ruptures were not scandals so much as the private erosions of illness. Rubin avoided public scandals but in later life faced the cruel descent of cancer, a lung cancer diagnosis that would end his work and, ultimately, his life. Professionally, he weathered the typical slumps of a character actor, moving from guest spots to recurring parts, never quite breaking into A-list stardom but accumulating steady credits that paid the bills and earned him industry respect. When illness came, Rubin's choice was quiet endurance rather than grand gestures. He continued to work when possible, maintained a low public profile, and relied on family and colleagues for support. He died on October 5, 2015 at 69, in Los Angeles of lung cancer. His estate was modest, net worth estimates under $1 million, and his legacy is the kind that slips between marquee names, an actor whose face and timing remain familiar to viewers, whose career is a catalog of dependable craft, and whose untold story is a reminder that many performers live and die away from the glare, leaving work behind that quietly outlives them. David Graff, born April 16, 1950, in Zanesville, Ohio, stepped into Hollywood's chaotic comedy scene as Sergeant Eugene Tackleberry in Police Academy, 1984, when he was 34, a role that would define his career and embed him in pop culture lore. Tackleberry was no ordinary character, a gun-obsessed, intensely disciplined, yet somehow endearing figure whose fervent militarism often veered into the absurd. Graff's portrayal captured this paradox perfectly, delivering comedic timing laced with an undercurrent of vulnerability that made Tackleberry more than a caricature. On screen, his character's single-minded dedication to firearms and law enforcement was played for laughs but hinted at a deeper commentary on order and control in a world increasingly chaotic. Off-screen, Graff's life was grounded and far less glamorous than the Hollywood roles he inhabited. Born into a middle-class family in a small Ohio town, he carried with him a Midwestern work ethic and modesty that never quite translated to stardom beyond the Police Academy franchise. His commitment to the acting community extended into advocacy, notably through the Screen Actors Guild, where he worked quietly but effectively to support fellow actors' rights. Despite a career spanning multiple television and film roles, his name never became a household one outside his niche, a reality that contrasted starkly with his on-screen bravado. His personal life remained largely private, with few public revelations about struggles, though friends recall his calm nature amid the Hollywood whirlwind. His sudden death on April 7, 2001, from a heart attack at age 50 shocked fans and colleagues alike, cutting short a life that seemed quietly content but vulnerable beneath the surface. At the time, his net worth was estimated around $500,000, modest by Hollywood standards, reflecting a steady but unremarkable financial path. Graff's legacy, however, lies in that iconic character, a man whose intensity and loyalty captured the zeitgeist of 1980s comedy while hinting at deeper human complexities, a testament to a talent both underappreciated and unforgettable. Deborah Lee Scott, born April 2, 1953, in Elizabeth, New Jersey, brought a subtle yet vital energy to Police Academy, 1984, as Violet Fackler, a shy, awkward woman thrust into the wild world of police training, embodying a quiet resilience that contrasted with the film's boisterous humor. At 31, Scott's portrayal was infused with warmth and comedic grace, making Violet an unexpectedly memorable figure despite limited screen time. Yet behind this gentle, unassuming screen persona lay a life marked by significant turmoil and heartbreak that few outside her inner circle fully understood. Raised in a working-class family, Scott's early years were shaped by determination to break free from modest circumstances, fueling a burgeoning acting career that saw her in numerous television roles before Police Academy. The greatest blow came later, however, when her fiancé, a devoted New York City police officer, was killed during the September 11th attacks, a loss that devastated her emotionally and precipitated a downward spiral. This personal tragedy, combined with struggles with alcohol, culminated in serious health complications, including cirrhosis, which ultimately led to her premature death on April 5, 2005, at just 52 years old. Throughout her final years, Scott battled the shadows of grief and addiction quietly, refusing many offers of help while the industry and fans watched her fade from public view. Her net worth of approximately $3 million reflected a prolific television and film career, yet it belied the deep personal cost she paid behind the scenes. Scott's story remains a haunting example of how fame can mask profound suffering, and how the bright light of a comedic role can flicker against the darkness of real-life loss. Her legacy is a bittersweet mixture of charm, talent, and tragedy, revealing a Hollywood narrative often untold, the cost of personal grief hidden beneath the laughter. Marion Ramsey, born May 10, 1947, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, emerged on the big screen in 1984 at age 37 with her memorable role as Officer Laverne Hooks in Police Academy. Hooks was instantly recognizable for her timid demeanor, delicate high-pitched voice, and surprising moments of boldness, a mix that made her character endearing and layered amid the chaotic comedy of the franchise. Yet behind this gentle, comedic persona was a woman of considerable depth and resilience. Before her film breakthrough, Ramsey built a solid foundation as a Broadway veteran, a fact little known to many fans who only saw her on-screen innocence. This stage experience honed her discipline and presence, skills she carried quietly throughout her career. Off-camera, Ramsey was a passionate AIDS awareness advocate during a period when the disease was heavily stigmatized and misunderstood. She performed in numerous charity events, lending her voice and platform to a cause deeply personal and urgent, demonstrating a commitment to activism that contrasted sharply with her soft-spoken screen roles. Growing up in Philadelphia during the post-war era, Marion faced the challenges of a racially segregated society, which instilled in her a strong sense of empathy and determination to succeed against the odds. Though her public image was one of warmth and kindness, she navigated an industry rife with typecasting and limited roles for African American women, yet she persevered with dignity. Her personal life remained relatively private, but those close to her recalled a woman who battled quietly against industry and health challenges alike. In her later years, despite fading from mainstream Hollywood spotlight, Ramsey remained dedicated to her craft and community until her death on January 7, 2021 at 73, following a brief illness. Her net worth, estimated between $1 and $2 million, reflected a career that, while not marked by blockbuster fame, was rich in consistency, kindness, and understated influence. Her legacy survives not only in the laughter she inspired but in the battles she fought quietly offstage, making her story one of resilience masked behind gentle humor. Doug Lennox was born on January 21, 1938, in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada, and at age 46, he gained recognition as the menacing antagonist in Police Academy, 1984, and Police Academy 3, Back in Training, 1986. His portrayal of the gritty, streetwise villain was a stark counterpoint to the comedic tone of the films, delivering a rare, grounded intensity amid slapstick chaos that made his presence unforgettable. However, Lennox's off-screen life presented a fascinating contrast to this tough exterior. He was a man of intellect and curiosity, known primarily in Canadian circles as a respected radio personality and author. His trivia book series Now You Know revealed a sharp mind fascinated by the obscure and surprising facts of life, illustrating a lifelong passion for knowledge beyond acting. Born and raised in a working-class family in northern Ontario, Lennox's childhood was marked by the hard realities of a small industrial town, fostering in him a gritty realism that informed his acting style. Though he avoided the pitfalls of Hollywood scandal, his career was not without struggles, including the challenge of carving out a niche in an industry that often pigeonholed him into villainous roles. His personal life remained largely private, but it's known that Lennox faced the typical uncertainties of an actor balancing media work and film roles. When he passed away peacefully in his sleep on November 28, 2015, in Toronto at age 77, his estate was modest but emblematic of a lifetime of dedication to craft and intellect, estimated at $1 to $2 million. Beyond his financial legacy, Lennox's true contribution lay in his ability to bridge worlds, the tough guy on screen, the erudite storyteller off it, creating a persona that was as intriguing behind the microphone as it was in front of the camera. His story is one of versatility, intellect, and quiet perseverance rarely celebrated in Hollywood's spotlight. George R. Robertson, born April 20, 1933, in Brampton, Ontario, was 51 when he took on the role of Chief Henry J. Hearst in the original Police Academy film in 1984, a role he reprised in 5 sequels. Initially portrayed as the stern, no-nonsense chief skeptical of the Academy's unconventional recruits, Robertson's nuanced performance revealed a man who could embody both authority and underlying warmth, gradually softening into humor and camaraderie, an evolution reflecting his deep acting range. Off-screen, Robertson's life was marked by an extraordinary dedication to humanitarian causes that contrasted with his Hollywood persona. His birth and upbringing in Ontario exposed him to modest, working-class roots, yet he rose to become not only a celebrated Canadian actor but also a tireless UNICEF ambassador. Over decades, Robertson was honored with the Danny Kaye Award and the Gemini Humanitarian Award for his relentless advocacy, a testament to a man who leveraged his fame for social good. His commitment went beyond surface-level charity. He actively engaged in campaigns addressing child welfare and international development, often sacrificing personal time and resources. This blend of public service and artistry painted the portrait of a man who saw his career as a platform for impact, not just entertainment. His acting career spanned film, television, and stage, amassing a respectable fortune estimated between $3 and $5 million at his death on January 29, 2023, at age 89. Yet, his true legacy resides in the stories seldom told, the quiet lobbying behind the scenes, the personal sacrifices for global causes, and the dignity with which he balanced celebrity and conscience. Robertson's life was a study in contrasts, a Hollywood character actor with the heart of a humanitarian, whose contributions to culture and society remain influential but largely underappreciated outside Canadian circles. Ted Ross, born June 30, 1934, in Zanesville, Ohio, was a formidable presence when he appeared as Captain Reed in Police Academy, 1984, at age 50. Embodying the stern but fair police commander tasked with corralling a group of unruly cadets. Ross's portrayal was steeped in authority tempered by an often weary patience, making him the voice of reason amid the slapstick chaos. Yet this on-screen role was just one chapter in a multifaceted life marked by significant artistic achievement and surprising personal complexities. Raised in a working-class environment, Ross's journey to prominence was forged through raw talent and relentless determination, leading to a celebrated stage career crowned by his Tony Award-winning performance in The Wiz. His versatility as an actor was evident in his seamless transition between theater, television, and film, yet his private life revealed layers less known to the public. Reports surfaced over the years about his involvement in hosting adult-themed parties, a revelation that contrasted sharply with his disciplined, authoritative screen image and caused quiet ripples in Hollywood circles. These personal nuances painted a portrait of a man unafraid to embrace contradictions, challenging the era's typical celebrity mold. Ross's death on September 3, 2002, from complications related to a stroke at age 68, closed a chapter on a life of both professional respect and enigmatic privacy. His net worth, estimated between $1 million and $2 million, mirrored a successful yet comparatively low-profile career, overshadowed by bigger Hollywood names but deeply respected in theatrical communities. His legacy is a testament to a complex artist who navigated the intersection of public acclaim and private freedom, leaving behind an enduring influence on stage and screen, and a quietly provocative story that still intrigues those who delve beneath the surface of Hollywood's polished facades. Michael J. Reynolds was born on August 15, 1939, in Toronto, Canada, and at the age of 45, he took on the role of the office executive in the cult classic Police Academy, 1984. Although his screen time was limited, Reynolds' character epitomized the cold, bureaucratic rigidity that stood as a foil to the anarchic spirit of the cadets, adding a layer of subtle satire to the film's comedic chaos. On screen, he was the quintessential authority figure, stern, impassive, and unyielding, embodying the very systems the cadets sought to disrupt. However, beneath this composed exterior lay a complex individual shaped by decades of varied experiences. Growing up in mid-20th century Toronto, Reynolds was raised in a middle-class family with Irish roots, exposed early on to a world of strict social conventions and the subtle tensions of immigrant identity. His childhood was marked by a conservative upbringing that valued discipline but also masked emotional expression, something he carried silently throughout his life. He entered the acting world relatively late, having first worked in various non-artistic jobs, a factor that lent him a grounded, realistic edge in his performances. Reynolds' career, spanning over 100 film and television credits, was defined by steady work rather than stardom, often cast as figures of authority, judges, officers, executives, roles that mirrored both his demeanor and the cultural archetype he fit so well. His off-screen life was considerably more private. Unlike many contemporaries, he eschewed Hollywood glamour, preferring a quieter existence in England, where he spent his final years. Despite his calm public persona, Reynolds endured his share of personal trials, the pressures of aging in an industry obsessed with youth, the subtle disappointments of never breaking into leading roles, and the strain of maintaining a career over decades with modest acclaim. His resilience was evident in how he adapted, transitioning into character parts that relied on depth rather than star power. Reynolds passed away peacefully on March 22, 2018, at age 78, leaving behind a modest estate estimated between $1 and $2 million, reflecting a career sustained by diligence and professionalism rather than extravagance. Joyce Gordon, born on August 28, 1934, in Des Moines, Iowa, was a pioneering figure in the entertainment industry whose role as Mrs. Thompson in Police Academy, 1984, came at age 50, adding a warm, maternal presence that contrasted beautifully with the film's raucous humor. Her character's polite bewilderment and gentle charm offered a subtle critique of authority and tradition, a reflection of Gordon's nuanced understanding of character work developed over a multifaceted career. Raised in a modest Midwestern family during the Great Depression, Joyce faced early gender and racial biases in an entertainment world dominated by men and stereotypes. Her determination to break these barriers led her to become the first woman to perform network television promos, a feat that marked her as a trailblazer at a time when women were largely confined to limited roles both on and off screen. She was also the first female president of a Screen Actors Guild branch, advocating fiercely for fair treatment, equal pay, and labor rights, especially for women and minority performers. Her career spanned radio, television, voice dubbing, and stage, and she earned the affectionate nickname "the girl with the glasses," symbolizing her sharp intellect and no-nonsense attitude. Despite her public success, Gordon's personal life was punctuated by struggles with the slow, frustrating pace of social change, health issues, and the grief of losing close friends and family members over the decades. She was a relentless advocate who used her influence to mentor younger performers and push the industry toward inclusivity. Her legacy extends beyond her screen appearances. She shaped industry standards and social attitudes during a crucial period of transformation. Joyce Gordon died on August 13, 2008, at the age of 73, leaving behind an estimated net worth of $2 to $3 million, amassed through decades of both creative work and powerful union leadership. Her life story remains a testament to the unyielding spirit of a woman who fought quietly but fiercely for recognition and equity in Hollywood, breaking ground so others could follow. Beth Amos was born on January 1, 1916, in St. Catharines, Ontario, and was 68 years old when she portrayed the little old lady in Police Academy, 1984, a character who, despite limited screen time, brought a touch of tender eccentricity and humor to the film's youthful madness. Amos's performance was not just a whimsical bit part but a reflection of a lifetime deeply entwined with Canadian theatre and arts education. Born into a working-class family during the turbulent years leading up to the Great Depression, Amos faced economic hardship and social instability from a young age. These early challenges instilled in her a profound empathy and resilience that permeated her work both on stage and off. She became a key figure in the development of Canadian theatrical arts, dedicating decades to acting, playwriting, and especially mentorship, shaping a generation of actors and artists with her wisdom and unwavering dedication. Despite her contributions, Amos largely avoided the spotlight of commercial cinema, choosing instead the meaningful but less glamorous path of artistic education and regional theater. Her life was also marked by personal sacrifices, including balancing her 5 children's upbringing with the demands of an artistic career and coping with the frustrations of limited financial reward in the arts world. Tragically, her life ended during a theater matinee on January 31, 1996 at 80, when she suffered a fatal heart attack, an ironic but poetic conclusion to a life lived entirely for the stage. At the time of her death, her estate was modest, estimated at under $1 million, reflecting a life driven by passion and commitment rather than financial gain. Beth Amos's legacy is most palpably felt in the countless Canadian performers she inspired, the cultural institutions she helped build, and the stories of perseverance and artistic integrity she embodied, quietly resisting the commercialization of art while nurturing its soul. Kay Hawtrey, born November 8, 1926, in Toronto, Ontario, brought a subtle yet unforgettable presence to the 1984 comedy Police Academy with her role as the surprise party lady, a character who, though brief, stood out for her quirky innocence amid the chaos. At 58 years old during the film's release, Hawtrey wasn't just a comic relief but a seasoned actress whose career spanned decades of Canadian theatre, film, and television. Her performance style was shaped by a lifetime spent cultivating her craft far from the Hollywood spotlight, an existence that mirrored her off-screen life, quiet, deliberate, and filled with steady artistic dedication. Born into a modest Canadian family, Kay's childhood was marked by the challenges of the Great Depression era, which instilled in her a resilience that would carry through her career. Although she was primarily known within Canada, her voice acting as Grandma Bunny in the children's series Max and Ruby added a beloved dimension to her legacy, captivating younger generations. Her personal life, however, was far from idyllic. After marrying actor John Clark, the marriage ended in divorce, leaving her to raise their son largely out of the public eye, which she did with a stoic grace. This background of personal sacrifice and dedication to craft quietly shaped the woman behind the screen, revealing a figure who prioritized family and artistry over fame. Her death on June 11, 2021, at the age of 94, marked the end of an era for Canadian acting, closing a life that was never about celebrity but about persistent creative contribution. Despite her modest net worth estimated between $1 to $2 million, Hawtrey's real legacy lies in her embodiment of the steadfast working actor, one who quietly shaped cultural memory without the flash of tabloid headlines or the trappings of stardom, leaving behind stories of discipline, humility, and an undying passion for performance. Dar Robinson, born March 26, 1947, in Los Angeles, California, is remembered less for his fleeting uncredited role as the menacing thug in Plaid in Police Academy, 1984, and more for his groundbreaking and daredevil contributions to Hollywood stunt work, where he redefined the art and science of physical performance. At 37, when Police Academy premiered, Robinson was already legendary, having shattered 19 world records in stunt work and revolutionized the industry through the invention of safety innovations like the decelerator rig, which allowed for controlled, high-impact falls that seemed deadly but were carefully choreographed to preserve life. His childhood was marked by profound emotional challenges. Losing his father early cast a shadow that may have fueled his fearless approach to risk. Growing up in a world where danger was an everyday presence, he developed not only physical skill but an almost philosophical acceptance of mortality, qualities that made him an unparalleled stuntman but also someone wrestling with existential fragility. The tragic irony of Robinson's life is that, despite surviving countless life-threatening stunts unscathed, he died at 39 on November 21, 1986 in a motorcycle accident on set, not performing a stunt but simply riding, underscoring the unpredictable nature of fate. This death shook Hollywood, a stark reminder that even those who flirt with death professionally are not invincible. His estimated net worth of $1 to $2 million at the time of death reflects a career spent largely behind the scenes rather than in front of cameras, yet his impact is monumental. He remains a symbol of professionalism and innovation, honored in documentaries and tributes like in Lethal Weapon 2. Robinson's legacy is one of pushing the boundaries of what's possible in stunt work while maintaining a commitment to safety, transforming an often overlooked art into a respected craft. Yet the personal cost behind this brilliance, the constant battle with danger and the psychological toll of living life on the edge, is a story Hollywood rarely tells but one that lingers beneath his daring feats. Though time has passed, the laughter they gave us still echoes. The cast of Police Academy brought joy to millions, and even though some of them are no longer with us, their performances live on. As we remember those we've lost, we also celebrate the legacy they left behind, one that continues to entertain and connect generations. Thank you for joining us in honoring these unforgettable stars. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tributes to the legends of television history.